The gym didn't look special from the outside. Just another concrete building baking under the California sun. No sign, no glamour, no hint that something unforgettable was about to happen inside. But places like this don't advertise history. History sneaks in quietly, tests itself, and leaves scars only a few people ever talk about. The door creaked open. Bruce Lee stepped inside carrying a small, worn canvas bag. Nothing flashy, no entourage, no dramatic entrance, just a man walking into a room full of iron, sweat, and unspoken rules. Conversation slowed. Plates stopped clanking for a second, not because anyone recognized him, most didn't, but because gyms develop instincts. They feel when something unfamiliar enters the room. Bruce was smaller than everyone else there, shorter, lighter, no visible bulk, no veins crawling across his arms. In a room built on size, he looked out of place, almost fragile, almost. At the far end of the gym, a man stood up from a bench press like a mountain rising. His name was known in certain circles, spoken with respect and a little fear. He was the kind of man people stepped around instead of through. Tall, wide, dense with muscle earned through years of pain. The kind of strength that announces itself before the man ever speaks. He laughed when he saw Bruce. Not cruel laughter, confident laughter. The kind that comes from never having been physically challenged by someone smaller. "You lost, man," he said, loud enough for others to hear. Bruce looked up calmly, no irritation, no ego, just observation. "I was invited," he replied. The big man smiled wider. Around them, a few lifters paused their sets, sensing entertainment. This was how gym hierarchies worked. Size ruled. Strength decided respect. And this quiet, undersized newcomer didn't fit the equation. "You train?" the big man asked. "Yes." That single word somehow felt heavier than it should have. The big man stepped closer. The size difference was almost absurd. His chest alone looked like it outweighed Bruce entirely. "You don't look like a fighter," he said. "You look like someone who'd break if things got serious." Bruce nodded slightly. "That's a common misunderstanding." Laughter rippled through the gym. The big man crossed his arms. "I spar with champions, real fighters. Speed helps, sure, but mass decides what happens when people collide." Bruce didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He simply asked a question. "Would you like to test that belief?" The room went quiet. The big man blinked, then laughed again, but this time there was uncertainty underneath. Pride filled the gap logic usually occupied. "Right here?" he asked. Bruce nodded. A circle formed naturally. No one announced it. No one needed to. Human beings recognize moments when something important is about to happen. This wasn't sparring. This wasn't training. This was curiosity mixed with ego, and that combination has started more fights than anger ever has. The big man loosened his shoulders. He knew how to fight. He wasn't careless. He raised his hands, confident, relaxed. Bruce stood still. No stance, no bounce, no guard. His arms hung at his sides like he'd forgotten he was about to be hit. Someone whispered, "This won't take long." The big man threw a jab, fast, clean, controlled. Bruce's head shifted an inch. The punch missed. Another jab, then a cross, missed again. Bruce didn't retreat. He didn't block. He simply wasn't where the punches expected him to be. Each movement was so small it looked like nothing had happened at all. The laughter stopped. The big man frowned. He threw faster combinations now, real intent behind them. But the more he tried, the more awkward he looked. His punches cut through empty air. His power had nothing to land on. Bruce still hadn't thrown a single strike. Frustration replaced confidence. "Stand still," the big man snapped. "Why?" Bruce asked softly. That single word broke something. The big man rushed forward, arms opening, trying to grab, to crush, to bring mass into the equation where mass always won. Bruce moved forward, not away, inside. His palm touched the big man's chest. That's all it looked like. A touch, but the sound that followed wasn't soft. It was sharp and deep, like something heavy being struck from the inside. The big man staggered backward, once, twice, then crashed into a rack, gasping like the air had been ripped out of him. His face twisted in confusion, not pain. Pain made sense. This didn't. The gym was silent. Bruce lowered his hand. "You believe power comes from size," he said calmly. "But power comes from timing, alignment, and intention." The big man struggled to breathe, hand pressed against his chest. Eyes locked on Bruce, as if trying to understand what reality had just done to him. "You didn't hit me hard," he managed. "No," Bruce replied. "I hit you correctly." People stared. Some stepped closer, others stepped back. Something sacred had just been challenged. Bruce continued, not preaching, not boasting. "Muscle is armor. Armor is useful, but armor has gaps. If you only train strength, you become rigid. Rigid things break." He paused. "Water is soft, yet it shapes stone." No one laughed now. The big man straightened slowly. His voice was different, quieter. "Teach me." Bruce shook his head gently. "What I do isn't a trick, it isn't a move. It's a way of understanding movement, force, and self. It requires unlearning before learning." That moment didn't make headlines. There was no footage, no article, no official record. But the men who were there never forgot it. And Bruce Lee walked out the same way he walked in, quiet, unimpressed, carrying nothing but a canvas bag and a truth the world would take decades to catch up to. Some fights are erased because they expose something uncomfortable, not weakness, but illusion.